What's up, YouTube? Today I got some online racing for you in Forza Horizon 4. Let's just jump right into it real quick. If you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Leave me a like or a dislike. Go ahead and comment what you think. Any type of interaction helps the channel grow because it helps the algorithm recommend my videos more. But with that out of the way, let's get into some racing. So here we are in second place in the Volkswagen Golf with the V8 swap, trying to chase down the leader on the free roam rush. So starting to catch up to him here as we get through some of these curves. This Volkswagen is a beast in a straight line. That V8 just does wonders on some of these cars, especially the small ones, I might add, like the Miata. So we're going to see if he's going to cut off into the grass on this section, and he's actually going to stay on the road, cutting the corners because he's in a truck, so he's definitely going to need all the room he can get. The handling on that thing is probably not as good as mine.
Bye, have a great time.
So up into first after that guy goes off into oblivion and easily taking the win. So back in the Golf for race number 2, starting in 6th place here. So his car definitely good off the line, managing to gain on these guys in front of me here. The Nissan GTR, Ford Focus rally car, and the Toyota Baja truck up past the GTR. Farmer Dan leading the race currently, and he's off into the stone walls. Thanks for coming out, Farmer Dan. It was nice seeing ya. So Ford Focus off into the field along with one of my teammates there. As soon as that happened, I knew exactly where they were going and where I went wrong. They were going to the jump that crosses the river. As you can see, they are appearing on the map. One of my teammates looks like he hit a tree as one of the blue members jumps across and gains a massive amount of distance on me. So see if we can catch up to him here before the finish line, as we are just approaching 55%. So slowly catching up here as we approach the finish line. He's going to slow right down as he goes through the grass, and I'm just going to finish on his back bumper. So not able to get the win. Very close. So on to the next race here in the Volkswagen SUV. I believe this is a Tiguan in B class on the free roam rush. So just smashing into Farmer Dan here. This time he is actually on the opposite team in his Ford Escort. So cruising through the field here, trying to get to the main road where I can put some power down, but just going to flip and go into a tree instead. So finally making it to the main road, gonna get passed by an MR2, very rare car. So down into 10th place as we go on the straightaway here, approaching the roundabout. You can see cars in pretty much all directions here on the field, on both roads. So in 9th place as we go through the tunnel here, just not even paying attention, gonna go right into that car. And now this is the section where we're gonna want to turn off after the tunnel. Now I know there's a river on that field, so I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna turn off a little bit later to try and avoid that. So moving up into 5th place as we cross the field here towards the finish line. You can see what other types of positions I can make up. So approaching the MR2 here, definitely not looking like an off-road build for him. Well, maybe I could be wrong, but catching up to him real quick here, passing someone else. Catching a bunch of air on the train tracks. Currently in 3rd place, and you see my teammate is going to mess up before the finish line, and I'm able to get 2nd place in the Tiguan. So from something like 10th up to 2nd, so not too bad. So as you can see, moving on to the next race in the Integra. Now, I know I was talking about doing more front-wheel drive cars. I haven't actually committed to making a whole front-wheel drive video yet, but I'm definitely going to start by including more front-wheel drive cars. It's not too often that I get A-class road racing, which is pretty much where all my front-wheel drive vehicles are, so by the time I decide to make a full video on it, it might be a while, but I'm definitely going to move in that direction. So here we are in 3rd place behind the Porsche. So All of my teammates are behind me, currently leading it for the red team. Gonna try and make a move going into this corner here, but he's going to match my braking zone and keep his position. Looking like the Triumph in first place, having some trouble with the corners. Going to scoop up the inside line from that Porsche. Now here we are up into second. Surprisingly enough, this Acura is actually a pretty good car. It gets a little squirrely in the corners from the lack of downforce, but on the straightaways, this thing just pulls. And even on launch, it's pretty good also. So gonna try and make a move as we bump into the Triumph here on the sharp corner. Going to push him a little bit, but just back off. Not wanting to send him off the track. So now a drag race to the next checkpoint here. Just gonna edge him out on the inside line. And able to keep my position through the corners here. And definitely outdrag him on the stretch to take the win. So easy win there. Definitely including some more Integra footage here. I love this car. This paint job, the rims, everything just goes together so well to make this car look super sweet. I was going for a street look for this car, that's why I didn't put on any downforce. I just didn't like the way that it would ruin the look of the car. So I'm willing to sacrifice handling in order to keep a nice clean look on this thing. This thing reminds me of something you'd see on the cover of a magazine in the early 2000s. So here we are in 7th place, right beside Farmer Dan in the yellow Ferrari, up behind our friend in the Porsche. We also got a Ford Focus RS, I believe it is. It could be an ST. So he's just going to nudge me towards the wall. I'm not quite sure if that was intentional or not, but going to get a little messy there anyways. Into the rocks, so losing a couple positions there to a couple NSXs and a G-Wagon, so that's kind of an interesting choice for this A-Class road racing. Never seen a G-Wagon in there before, but we're going to see how it performs. The guy might be trolling and just trying to see how many people he can beat in a weird vehicle, which is something I also like doing, like my limo video or my taxi video, or a video that I have not yet been able to finish yet, which is the Peel P50 or the Isetta. I would like to make a video of me smoking some people in those vehicles, but getting knocked out of the checkpoint by my teammate in the NSX, so going to drop me all the way down to 10th. So I'm going to try and make up these positions halfway through, well, almost halfway through the second lap here. So 1.5 laps to go. You can see what we can do here. So up past the Porsche and the Bowler in one sweep into the sharp double apex corner, approaching the G-Wagon. So getting up close enough to make my move here and completing the pass. So he's right on my bumper, but I know that this thing hauls ass, so I'm not too worried. Just gonna stay right in front of him there. Should be able to pull away no problem. Looking like the Ford Focus up ahead. And the NSX making a mistake. I guess that's karma for hitting me out of the checkpoint, even though he's my own teammate. So up through the Ford Focus and leading it for the red team after missing a checkpoint. So I guess that might say something about the quality of my teammates here on this race. And finishing in 5th place, so was about to catch up to them, but obviously just not enough space to do so. So starting off the next race, again in the Integra. So starting off in 9th place, getting passed by everyone off the line, although still not too bad of a launch considering it is front-wheel drive. But as usual, able to pass a whole bunch of people in the first corner. Typical Forza shenanigans here. Up behind Farmer Dan in the yellow Ferrari once again. on the sharp corner here. Definitely a very dangerous corner if you're not on the brakes early enough. There's a little spot that sticks out, and it'll catch you and bring you to a dead stop if you're not careful. Again, one of the things that can be frustrating in this game is all the things that stick out on the walls. So anytime you scrape up against a wall, there's always a gritting your teeth moment, wondering if something is sticking out, a little invisible wall that's sticking out is going to bring you to a dead stop. So here we are, passing Farmer Dan and passing a white NSX up into second place behind my teammate in first. Let's see if we can catch up to him here before the end of the race, approaching 70% completion. Really weary about this car's ability to take these fast corners due to the lack of downforce, but actually not doing too bad. I'm going to take it extra wide on that exit to try and keep some speed as I reel in first place in the NSX, and just not going to make it happen. Going to come in a close second place. So moving on to the next race in the Funko F9 in S1 class. Now, I'm not quite sure about this vehicle, but I think it is meant for driving on the sand. It is rear-wheel drive, and definitely does not handle like any other type of off-road buggy that I've ever driven before. You can see the back tires are super huge, and the front tires are super skinny. So I have a feeling this is one of those sand vehicles where they do like the drag racing and stuff, and you just see them kicking up a whole bunch of sand, because this thing definitely does not like to drive anywhere else. So I think I have about 1,500 horsepower in this thing, and as you can see, it just seems to want to do wheelies, and as soon as you step on the gas, you lose your ability to turn. You definitely don't lose your ability to go into walls, but you lose your ability to turn. So down in 6th place, I'm going to see if I can salvage any portion of this in this crazy vehicle. Now, in my last video, I introduced you guys into the try-hard cars. Now, this seems to be an appropriate time to introduce you to crackhead cars. Not quite sure what the definition for that is, but pretty much just crazy cars that are just completely insane, most likely hard to drive, just maybe capable of doing some insane things if you really know what you're doing, but mostly just crazy, insane vehicles. And I think this vehicle definitely takes the cake for that category. 1,500 horsepower, wheelies, can't even turn when you hit the gas, so definitely something I would include in there. So up beside the Ford F-150 Raptor, I believe he's in some type of racing edition because he's got all the fans and stuff in the back. I believe that's the truck that they added quite recently. Not a good vehicle in my experience. So instead of trying to turn, because this vehicle sucks at turning, just figuring I'm going to full send it and go straight for the jump. I was hoping I'd be able to jump over that Ford, but just not going to happen. I'm going to come behind him. So starting off the next race, I'm going to try and salvage some type of win or some type of something in the Funko F9. So down in 5th place, you can see Farmer Dan up there in the yellow Lambo, smashing into another Ford F-150. And as you see, hitting the gas, the front end just lifting up on this thing while it accelerates like a madman. So smashing into the back of the RS200, RS500, I don't really remember what that thing's called. So as you can see, just proving how little control this thing actually has, having to let go of the gas every single time you do the throttle. Into the stone walls, so down into second last here, not looking so good for us. Guy on the blue team messing up there. You can see him on the radar as I passed him. So having to be very careful on the throttle here. You can see my speedometer just constantly blipping as I try and control this vehicle. But on the straights, you can see how quickly we catch up right beside the Lambo and having to let go for this corner here. I was thinking of going off and cutting the corner there, but definitely not worth the risk in this crazy crackhead vehicle. So you can see everyone's screwing up there, so possibly making the right decision on my part. In second place, up into first as we speak. Not quite sure where second place is as I bash into a Mini Cooper there. So knowing that I'm going to have to cut across the grass, so I'm going to do it very early to try and avoid as many trees as possible and hopefully keep my speed. So no one on the radar currently, looking like an easy victory.
In 400 yards, you will arrive at your destination.
So as you can see here, the blue guy coming up and stealing my win in the Funko. I was really excited about the possibility of getting a win in this thing, but not gonna happen. So moving on to the third race in this thing. Hopefully third time is the charm and I'll be able to get a win. So starting off in 5th place as we go over the first jump. Up past the Toyota truck. So approaching this little river here. You can see how it does. So actually able to accelerate through there, no issues at all. Up into 3rd place. Gotta be very cautious around the corners. So losing out to the Toyota truck and to the Ferrari. Losing a lot of speed on that corner. So currently in 5th. Hard on the brakes. Trying to balance the throttle through that corner as we take this jump into the next little river area. Going to try and hold my position at the very minimum as we go through this field. Incredibly hard to control this vehicle through a bumpy field. And not able to do any better than that as we're almost wheeling across the finish line. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.